Now, CBS 46 Pinpoint Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Oh, we are so incredibly busy in the tropics. Hurricane Dorian is what we've been watching very closely, but that storm is not alone. Tropical Storm Fernand making landfall over northern Mexico as we speak. On top of that, we have Tropical Depression number 8 just off the coast of Africa. And then we have a tropical wave that has a 50% chance of development within the next 48 hours. So a lot going on top of Dorian. But of course, Dorian is what we are watching closely because it is currently bringing incredibly strong winds to the Florida coast. It has maintained Category 2 strength with 110-mile-an-hour winds, starting to turn slightly more to the north. Winds were currently moving to the northwest at 6 miles an hour. Now it's moving to the northwest at 6 miles an hour, and it will continue that more northerly turn here as we head through the next 24 hours. It is not expected to make landfall over the Georgia coast or the Florida coast, but it's going to be close enough that the winds are going to pick up by Thursday at 3 a.m. 60-mile-an-hour winds expected in Savannah, up to close to 50-mile-an-hour winds in Charleston. Then as we head towards Friday, could see close to hurricane force winds in Charleston, almost 50-mile-an-hour winds in Myrtle Beach. And then as the storm heads towards the Outer Banks and Hatteras, could see Category 1 hurricane winds. So this will be very strong winds across the entire southeastern coast, but it's also going to bring heavy downpours and the risk of storm surge. Everyone from Florida to Georgia to South Carolina to North Carolina under a storm surge warning. That means that within the next 36 hours, we could see a dangerous storm surge. Here in Georgia, a 4 to 7 feet storm surge is possible as we head to St. Simons, St. Mary's, then into the Carolinas. 6+ feet of storm surge. So definitely a very dangerous situation. And when you combine that with the winds and the rain, it's going to be very messy. And for more on the direction this storm is going, we're going to head over to Ella. Ella, we're waiting for this to turn.
Yes, and we've gotten a lot of questions. Why did it stall over the Bahamas, and why do we know that it's going to make the turn? Well, it has to do with the atmospheric conditions at the time. Take a look at what was going on. There was 2 high pressures in place over the last few days. One was in the Atlantic Ocean. That was pushing Dorian to the west, the other high pressure over our country. And the northerly winds was keeping Dorian stalled right over the islands. That's the reason it did not move. But that high pressure has now been replaced with a shortwave trough. It's essentially just a low pressure system, and the southerly winds from that system are going to cause Dorian to take a turn and pick up speed as it heads up the coast. So it really will get moving here over the next couple of days. Also want to mention that this storm was able to weaken because it rained so much that the sea surface temperature over the Bahamas, which is where it was stalled, cooled off. So the fuel for the energy of the storm was not there over the last couple of days. But look, it is headed into much warmer water now. For that reason, we are expecting it to maintain its strength very well over the coming days, maybe even gaining a little strength in the next day or so as it moves along that very warm water along the Georgia coast. So something that we will have to definitely continue to monitor over the next 24 to 36 hours. Jennifer?
Yeah, and luckily here at home, minimal effects from Dorian. Instead of seeing the rain, the winds, and the storm surge, we're going to see a lot of heat, getting up to 96 degrees tomorrow, and that is my forecast high temperature. Our 3-degree guaranteed charity for the month of September is Gateway Center. We did get it today, so the total up to $50. And for each day we do it, Monday through Friday through the month of September, we'll continue to add $50 to the pot. Want to talk about winds because we talked about the coastal winds being up to 50, 60, even 70 miles an hour. Here in North Georgia, you're going to notice it's a little breezy as Dorian approaches the Georgia coast. But at most, we're only looking at 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. We'll see that late tomorrow through Thursday. Beyond that little bit of a breeze, which will feel good, it's just heat we're talking about. Mid-90s all the way through the weekend with only an isolated chance of rain by early next week. All right.